Hello, church people. Thank you so much for being part of Christ Life Church. My name is Bryn, and I'm very excited to be with you today to share something very awesome in order for you to at least get to know what I have on my mind. The Lord has put something on my mind. We are in our Holy Spirit series, and we believe that everything that you need to know about the Holy Spirit should be a conviction that will help you be a better person. So I have something to share with you, and it's going to be a message that I think will help you throughout this period when people are receiving the worst of life, the trials of life, where things seem not to be the normal. Things that are not working their way. People are losing their jobs. People are looking at life as something that is not normal anymore. So, the topic of my sermon today is the gain when you lose. How do you gain when you lose? It is something that has been happening in the New Testament, and we're going to be looking at a few things to reflect on that message for you to get to know how we lost in the Bible and then gain even much more. And I believe we all have been around people that have had issues to do with losing jobs. The experience of losing a job, and you're a family man, you're a parent, you are a head of a household, and you have dependents that include 4, 5, or 6 people, and you need to take care of them. And some people also have things to do with school fees, take care of over 6 children, and you need to pay their school dues. They need to get medication, and you have lost your job. Sometimes you must even ask yourself a question like, why is this happening to me? Why of all people? Why would I be in this kind of position? And yet, first of all people look at you as a Christian. They look at you as someone who goes to church every day. They expect your life to be a little bit better. There are days you've even questioned them. You've gone into arguments, and you've shown that what you have on your side, the God that you have on your side, is a God of provision, and then you're the person in lack. What happens when you're in that kind of scenario? So today we're going to be talking about that. And one of the things that I've noticed, that whenever we go through such situations, we start complaining as individuals. We start coming out with, of course, questions of why is it me? Why is it our family? People have lost even family members because of COVID-19. We've lost a lot of, there is a moment when someone has lost something in this moment. But according to what I can give you, before I even go further, one kind of word of encouragement I can give you is that there is no way you're going to be left out. God knows exactly what is happening to you. He planned it, and it's going to be well anytime from now. Just believe that as a Christian. If you're a Christian and you believe God is the provider, you believe God is the person that put you in that position, it is going to be well. Do not deviate. Do not get worried. Do not in any way feel sorry about yourself, because God cannot allow anything to happen to you without His consent. And I've noticed from the readings that I've taken in the Bible, I've noticed that sometimes it is God's plan to take away something from your life, because He's making room for something better. And you'll notice some of the things that we treasure, the things that we look at as important in life. In this period, like we've been in these lockdowns, the COVID lockdowns and all that, in periods of epidemics, and in periods where there are wars, the things that we cherish and the things that we look at as most important, sometimes they cease to be because they are no longer available, and we still live that kind of life. I'll give you an example. We looked at our jobs, as some of us even look at our jobs as our idols. You might be worshiping something and you don't even know. You look at your job as the most important thing. But now we are in COVID. We've been in COVID, and we've been in lockdown, first phase, second phase, third phase. And you're not even sure when you're going back to work. And the job has ceased to be around, and you're still moving on. You still eat food. You still get the medication. And God is trying to show you that the things that you've been worshiping, the things that you've been looking at as the required necessities of daily life are not required necessities. You can live without them. So the reason why God takes away some of the things that we have in our lives is to create room for Him to glorify Himself, And one of the things that I've seen that keep us always in that kind of comfort zone is we always have money around. Now there comes a moment when you cannot earn anymore and money is not around. And you need to worship God, you need to go and do the things that you're supposed to be doing, and you don't have the money. So how are you going to go through all the errands that you're supposed to be doing wherever you're supposed to be doing them? So that is why we need to accept the fact that sometimes God takes away the things that are around us for us to understand how He works, for Him to glorify Himself, because in the midst of the troubles, in the challenges that we have, that is where He works even most. The reason why we have the word miracle is because there is a situation. There is no miracle that happens to someone who is all well off. Especially go to the Bible. Look at the people that received the miracles. Either someone was dead, someone was lame, someone was blind. It happens after something that is not been okay. It happens when someone has been in a situation. So that is the reason why I have to come to you and tell you that you need to be patient with God. The reason why sometimes it even takes away the things that we have is to expose our vulnerability. Sometimes we're in situations when we think we are okay, but sometimes it is not the case. Sometimes it's just because you're used to the fact that everything is coming on a silver plate. God is trying to teach you in moments like this that things are not supposed to be that way unless He says so. It is not you, it is not you're supposed to think that way, that, you know, I have the money, I have the job, I have that car. There are moments when you cannot even drive your own car, the car that you bought millions and millions of money because someone said so. But there are things that someone cannot take away from you. And if you believe in the principles of the Holy Spirit, then today is the day that you're going to understand that you just have to open up and let Him into your life, because that is where He works most, and every word of yours will be handled very well. And of course, the biggest example that we can have is from the Bible, when there was a moment when, of course, Jesus was with the disciples. They had got used to Him, accustomed to moving around with Him, doing the miracles. And of course, there are moments when He challenged them and He challenged their faith when it comes to issues to do with miracles and all that stuff. It was not a little bit easy for them to cope life without Him. And I remember in one of the verses, I think it's John chapter 16, verse 5. I'm going to be reading it. But he showed how much they were in grief, knowing that at a moment He needs to depart and leave them there. But He came out and encouraged them and told them, you know, I'm doing this for the good of you. There has to be a reason that God is doing something. He's doing it for your good. Sometimes He needs to take something away for you to gain more. That is what God did, especially in the Jesus scenario. He had to take away Jesus for us to receive the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is what was supposed to be after Him. Because we were so much used to the person, to the individual, the Jesus, and we're used to the fact that wherever He went, miracles were done. But now what happens, because He came in form of a human being, there was supposed to be a time when He's supposed to die. So what would happen after that if we didn't have something that was something supernatural, something that lives beyond the physical being? That is why He told them, I have to leave, but it's for the good, because what is coming after me is something that is going to be eternal, something that is going to be long-lasting, something that is not going to, it's not going to be moving with you just like physically. It's something that is going to be something that comes from within. So when you look at that verse, John chapter 16, verse 5, He says, but now I go away to Him who sent me, and none of you asks me, where are you going? But because I have said these things to you, sorrow has filled your heart. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth, it is for your advantage that I go away. For I do not go away. For if I do not go away, the Helper will not come to you. But if I depart, I'll send Him to you. So that was the whole reason why He was leaving. He had to send a helper that is not going to be lasting for 2, 3, or 4 years. A helper that will be eternal, a helper that still lives in our life, and that is the Holy Spirit. A helper that lives in generations and generations and generations. All you need to do is just accept the fact that He has to come into your heart. You accept Him, you let Him you don't have to do anything. There is no qualifying for the Holy Spirit to be in your life. Is not supposed to be something you make an application for. No, you just have to let him accept the fact that he's in control of your life, and then everything will be well. And of course, in John chapter 16 verse 12, the next chapter there to 15, he says, I still have many things to say to you, but you cannot bear them now. However, when he, the Spirit of truth, has come, he will guide you into all the truth. For he will not speak of his own authority, but whatever he hears, he will speak. He will tell you things to come. Now, that is also part of prophecy. You know, you need to live with the life of prophecy. You need to understand things that are happening even before they happen. And then I have to tell you about another thing that while I was making some small research about the Holy Spirit, Jesus did not just walk away. He did not just walk away. No, he cannot walk away from you, because in Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11, he says, I know the plans I have for you. No, he cannot do anything. He cannot let anything bad happen to you, because he knows the plans that he has for you. One sign that he has not left you even in this period when scarcity has been the norm of the day, when poverty has been the norm of the day, when joblessness has been the norm of the day, is you still have found something to eat. How many people have testimonies of finding plenty of food in this COVID period? I used to get food, and I have a small family of 3. Me, my wife and my son, and we could not even finish a bunch of matoke, so we had to share. So the neighbor could not say they are not fed, because God was providing for them through me. And there was a lot of plenty of things that happened, especially in this period, when we thought God has left us. The other thing is that you've noticed other diseases have become silent. COVID, even the other diseases fear COVID, so they're all silent. You only hear of COVID, because God knows how to take care of his flock. He tells you that, yes, if pressure has been the issue that has been hitting Uganda, COVID has come, pressure is silent. And it is not that people still die of other diseases, but the rate at which they die of other diseases is not compared to how it was before. He knows exactly what he's doing. And then the other thing, the final bit of showing you that God has not left us, is the way that he has, one of the things that I've seen in this COVID period is how churches have been active. We thought the gospel would be sandwiched by all this, but you've noticed that now churches are spreading the gospel. It is reaching households even more than it was before when churches were open. I'll give you an example here at Christ Life Church. We began as a church. We could congregate in a room, on Facebook, on YouTube. Now it is beyond that. We have what we call MCs, missional communities, that are in different homesteads. Over 100 people meeting in different areas, talking about the gospel every single day of the week. That would not happen if we are not pushed to the wall. You know, sometimes life pushes you to the wall for you to understand the fact that you need to be a little bit creative. You need to now start thinking in dimensions that are beyond what we've thought of. So, and I believe that that is the way Christ wanted us to go. The other thing that I understood about this whole thing, despite the fact that we've had limitations, we've now grown as Christians. We've learned the personal relationship that we have with God. We've learned how to relate with God on the things that are spiritual, on the things that are belief centered, on things that are something to do with the gospel. We now understand what it means to sit down and pray, and then tell God what your need is, what your grievance is on a personal level. Because now we are so dependent on things like church, the pastors, it is not the case anymore. Now I have to let you know about one thing before I really close up. If you really think everything you have had in this life has not helped you in this COVID, then you need to understand that you need to let God into your life. 1 John chapter 4 verses 4 says, you are of God, little children, and you have overcome them, because he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. They are of the world, and the world hears them. We are of God. He knows God. He who knows that God hears us. He who is not of God does not hear us. By this we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. So just know who is in you. You are of God. Know who is in you. That is the most important thing. If you understand that, then you stop striving. All you need to do right now is understand the power of prayer. Understand how to ask God. I'll end with a small example of a story of a young man. In the institution that he was studying from, you can call it a university, there was a pole day. The pole day, just like a pole, a flag pole, they used to converge every single year. And they used to converge around a pole, a tree, like a prayer, okay, you can call it a tree or whatever you call it. And they used to converge to pray for different issues. Now, when that day happened, that single boy that day came and he turned up. He expected everyone in that school to turn up. They didn't turn up. Now, this was the son of a young woman, a woman who was a blogger. She used to go on Facebook and discuss her views about different topics. Now, the woman had left Facebook for some time because it was not working for her and she was doing other things. Now, it also happens that when his son came to this flag day, the pole day, and he showed up and everyone was supposed to be there, they didn't come. The boy started praying because the essence of coming on the flag pole day was supposed to be praying for issues and all that stuff. So he began praying alone because he said, I think people are just late, they'll be coming. So it happened that the boy went on and he prayed for different issues around the community, around their families. And a passerby came, found this boy praying seriously. He took a video of this boy and posted it on social media and talked about how this boy is courageous, how this boy has taken the stand to pray for the issues. And then it started spreading like bushfire. You know, everyone was starting to get this video of this courageous boy standing alone on the flagpole day, spraying and praying for different issues. And the boy became an internet sensation. It was very exciting to see this young man who was first of all shy, who was first of all a nobody, but taking the issue of prayer to the next level. Because he knew it is not about what the people thought, what other people thought. It was about the issues that he was praying for. And then, so a neighbor came and called their mom and told them, you know what, are you off Facebook? Said, no, I've been off like for some time. Can you go to Facebook and check out this page and this and see what is happening? Before even she went to the page that they were told her. There were already videos and comments about this young boy, and he noticed that this was his son. He did not know that part of his son in him. He did not know that his son was a prayer warrior. And all of a sudden what happened was everyone started, news, TVs and all that stuff, they started coming, media houses coming to check on this boy, to interview him, what gave him that courage. And then before you know, the boy was already a celebrity. And the lesson that people learned from this boy's story was one: it is not about who is around you. It is about your commitment to your big idea of what you want to be in life and what you want to achieve in life, especially in the godly matters. He closed all his eyes on the things that are around him, on the space that was around him that was supposed to be filled by others. And then he thought of the prayer points that he needed to put across to God. And all of a sudden, he was praying for food and all the other stuff. All he got is fame. All he got is a good job because people started understanding how important this boy was. So I need to tell you that despite the fact that we all have what it takes to be good Christians, but we need to also have what it takes to be good prayer warriors, because we can only invite the Holy Spirit in our lives after putting ourselves before God. The Holy Spirit, you cannot qualify by doing an exam to have the Holy Spirit in you. You need to just let yourself loose, let your heart loose. Open your heart to the things that really matter, especially to the godly matters. Put yourself before God and He will come into your heart. I really, really want to pass on that message to you, especially in these trial times. God is with you, and He who lives in you is bigger than what is in the world. So close your ears to what is happening in the world and open your ears to what God says. And all He says is, I am with you always. He says that I know the plans I have for you. So keep that in mind and you'll be blessed. Let me say a simple prayer before we leave. Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for today. We want to thank you for this good word that you've provided to us. Open our hearts. Do not harden them. In every center of life that we've had challenges, let us look upon you. Let us look unto you, not around the things that are happening around us. Let us close our ears to the things that are happening around us. Let us listen to your word, because we believe by your word we shall be redeemed in all ways of life. We believe you. We want you to come into our life. We invite the Holy Spirit into our life, and everything will be according to your plan, because everything works for the good of your kingdom. Thank you so much for being part of Christ Life Church. My name is Pastor Bryn. We will meet and, of course, enjoy the other bit of the service.